Morning. We're here today with Michelle, and we're going to be talking to her as a member of the community and finding out a little bit about her background and what she does. So welcome, Michelle.
Thank you.
So why don't you start us off with telling us how you got here and what you do professionally, and we'll go forward from there.
Okay, so first of all, Montana, and I know a lot of people have similar stories, but the Flathead, really how I arrived with my husband was totally divine. And for those of you who know me, you know that I call myself the corporate woo-woo because I am both business-minded and a little bit out there. And here's a little out there story. So what occurred and what happened was my husband and I originally are from Wisconsin. And we were on a motorcycle trip, and we were taking our motorcycle through Montana, and we were in a little state park, which some of you might know, called Bannock State Park, and it's a ghost town. And we spent the night in this ghost town, and it was a little freaky, you know, we're in a ghost town, but there's a little campground there. And so we spent the night, and the next morning we woke up and we decided we were going to tour it. It would be kind of fun. And the lady behind the counter said, so you know, we don't have any tour guides today. It's a self-guided tour. And my husband and I were like, okay, fine. So we were kind of playing around. We went to all the different little churches and pretend we were getting married, and we were just goofing around. And all of a sudden we turned around, and there's this very tall gentleman with a big, huge cowboy hat on. And he introduced himself. He said his last name was Phillips. I can't remember his first name. John, maybe. And he told us that he was from Wisconsin originally. Kind of weird. And he said that he was here to give us our tour today. And it was like, what? Wait a minute. So he started asking us questions about ourselves. Where were we from? Why were we in Montana? We were explaining that we were in love with the area. We loved it. You know, we were here just visiting. And he said, well, if you're ever considering buying property, you might want to look about 20 to 30 minutes west of Whitefish. And then he said, okay, well, have a good day. He tipped his hat and he left, and he never gave us a tour. And we don't know if he was real or not. We were in a ghost town, right? And so my husband and I looked at each other and we were like, you know, this is a sign. And I'm all about intuition and about following your intuition. And I knew that this was a sign. It was a divine sign. And so he had encouraged us before he left not to just go up to Glacier Park. He said, it's beautiful there, but stop and look at property. And so we took that message, and we did. And we went to a real estate agent, and she gave us the name of the listing agent because she wasn't really wanting to go where we live. It's since then we bought the property, but it's way up, and she didn't feel comfortable touring, giving us a tour, probably because we were two people on a motorcycle. She didn't know if we were serious or not, but we were. And when we went to the property, we fell in love with it. It was absolutely everything that our hearts have desired. We made an offer. We stayed an extra day to do that, and within that week, we had found out that we were property owners in Montana. So that's how we got here, and we've been here a little, I guess, property owners now for well over a decade, but residents of Montana now for about 7 years. So.
Great. What, I know the story that you just told me, but when you made the actual move from Wisconsin to Montana,
right.
What brought, I mean, I realized you were going to end up here no matter what, but what sort of triggered you to move?
Well, that's a good question. I was living in Wisconsin. I was working at a corporate job. I had, in many people's opinions, the world by the tail. I was making very good money. I had 5 weeks of vacation. My husband and I had a beautiful 5-acre farmette. We were doing very well financially, but there was something missing in our lives, and we couldn't put our finger on it. It was like when your soul has a purpose, no matter what you do, you feel this longing, this emptiness. It's like, you know, there's something missing in your life, and no matter what, you just can't get that satisfaction or contentment. And that had been going on with us for quite some time. And when we were on our property, it was so, like, everything just filled in. It was like there was no emptiness anymore. And so we started dreaming about how we would build and what we would do. And we started laying out the plans and what might it look like. And before you know it, we said, let's just do it. And of all times, we decided to put our farmette on the market right when things were starting to fall out, economy-wise. We put it on the market right before Thanksgiving. And most people would think, you know, it's never going to sell. But it sold in less than 30 days. Boom. We were asked to be out right before Christmas. It was crazy. So we said goodbye to our family. They were like, what's going on? And we were gone before you know it. So
They knew that you had this property in Montana, and they knew your feelings.
Yeah, we had the property for several years prior that we were making payments on it, and we had been talking about it, but I don't think anybody really took us as seriously as we took ourselves, you know. People thought we were crazy, especially giving up such a lovely lifestyle.
So you came out to Montana in the winter?
We did, and it was brutal. My husband drove his car or his truck, and I was in my car, and we were going to cross eastern Montana with horrible blizzards, and yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Okay, so when you came here, I know that when I met you, you were living in Columbia Falls area.
Yeah.
And your husband was doing something that he you know, was not really suited, but he was doing it. You know, it's a Montana story. You do whatever you have to live here.
Business cards.
Right.
Yeah. I live in Montana. This is how I survived 3 different jobs.
Right. And during that time period, you were developing your feelings and your calling, sort of.
Yeah.
So